Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we have the next video in our Temtem 1.0 guide series. In this video we'll be looking at leveling your Temtem, how to obtain perfect Temtem, as well as then how to TV train your Temtem. We'll be going over the different leveling methods, different TV training methods, and then of course the auction house and the breeding center for how to actually obtain the ones you want. So without further ado, let's get into the video. In this part of the video, we'll be going over the auction house in Temtem. So as you can see, I have the auction house opened up here, and this is what you'll see when you first open it up. Just basically a bunch of auctions, which doesn't really do much for us when we're trying to find something specific. So let's say we want to find something for training. If we go to our advanced filters here and look at our SVs, we can set our minimum SV to 50. That way we know we're going to get a 50 SV Temtem from here. So if I hit accept and we look for an Oceara, it will show us all Ocearas that have a minimum 50 SV of special attack. So this one, for example, could be a great option to use for any kind of training. It does have the Hurry Wart trait that we're looking for, as well as 50 SV. So that's all you really need to use it for any kind of SV training. And as you can see here, we also have a lot of perfect options that you can see. The other option for catching a training Temtem is literally just to go out and catch it, since you only need one SV to be perfect. With enough grinding, you should be able to find one. The auction houses can be found on a couple different islands, and they can be depicted by this gavel here. So if you see this icon, you know it's an auction house. There is this one that is in Arbury. There is the one that is in Dennis in Turquesa, and there is the one that is in Tukma Quetzal. So those are the auction houses you have an option to go to. The next thing I want to go over in this video is the breeding center. So another way to get perfect Temtem in this game would be to use breeding. So this is where all the breeding takes place. You would hand off the Temtem that you want to breed to this person here, and this is where you buy the strands to guarantee your breeds. So if you played a game like Pokemon, I've done breeding in both Temtem and Pokemon, and Temtem is much less frustrating as there's a lot more guarantees. So, for example, if you have two Temtem with the same SV rating of perfect SVs or any SV rating, it will automatically be passed on to the child. If they don't have the same SV, then you are given a range of SVs it could be, being the lowest SV, the highest SV, or an average of the two. Another thing Temtem allows you to do is to buy strands. So as you can see with these strands, they're a single-use gear to make sure that the offspring inherits a certain stat. So if you have a Temtem or two Temtem, one with perfect speed and one with perfect HP, you can use these two strands to guarantee that the offspring will have a perfect HP and a perfect speed stat. As you can see, you can also get strands that are a little more expensive that guarantee two stats are passed down, and this is key when you're looking at breeding. As you can see on screen, this is a graphic on how to do a perfect Temtem breed. So this is a pretty basic outline, but it does explain what to do and how you need to do it. So the basic idea is you get 8 Temtem, all with your different starting points, which would be HP stamina, defense, special defense, and attack, special attack. This will allow you to make the spreads that you need. The reason you do it this way is there is no double strand that gives you a speed TV. So you want to use your doubles, attack and special attack, HP stamina, and your defenses to go along with your speed Temtem on the second line of breeding. Once you have your 3 SV children, they can create a 5 SV child, and then your both lines combine here to make your perfect Temtem. In a perfect breed that is done well, you are able to make 3 perfect Temtem for each breed. If everything goes perfectly and you catch the Temtem yourself, it costs about 60 to 70k to make a perfect breed, which you can then sell for generally more than that and make your profit that way. How I started was I would breed my own Temtem that I wanted for competitive, sell the extra, and then I could use that extra money to fund future breeds and things like that. Nowadays, there are very specific breeders in Temtem that are very good at it and have a lot of stock for breeding. So there are often options in the auction house. However, this is another option for you if you, like I said in another part of this video, if you don't have a lot of Pansons and you want to start from scratch. The other main thing about Temtem is the fertility system. That is how they control breeding in this game. So the fertility system, when a Temtem breeds, it loses one fertility. So, and that fertility is passed on to a child. So if you breed two 7 fertility Temtem together, you'll be left with two 6 fertility Temtem with whatever you first breeded, and one 6 fertility child Temtem. So that is how you can't just infinitely breed these Temtem together. That's why you're able to do it in a more guaranteed manner. So just again, guys, the breeding can be found on the Temtem wiki. You can find the breeding guide. That's where I got the image. I'll link to the section of breeding down below. It is definitely a something to get started with, and it's can be a bit daunting, especially when you're doing gender ratios. You definitely want to try and make sure that your first breed is a bit easier to do with at least 50/50 gender ratios, as if you don't have a stock of other optional Temtem, breeding can get really rough with genders. I will also mention that there is a Temtem that works similarly to Ditto, that is Mimit in this game. Mimit can breed with either a female or a male offspring and get you your whatever the offspring is. Normally, the parent would have to be female to get the offspring that you want. So, Mimic can help you in those situations. So, later in the game, if you are going to be breeding, you're definitely going to want a stock of Mimit that you can use to get you out of some unfortunate gender situations. The last thing to add to breeding is there's also a strand that gives you your trait. So, depending on what trait you want your Temtem to be, you can guarantee the trait going forward on whichever Temtem. So, that'll be something you likely do on your perfect Temtem. If it has the right trait, then awesome. You can breed it with your 5SV Temtem again. If it doesn't have the trait you're looking for, hopefully one of your 5SV Temtem does, because that way you can just hold the stats from your perfect Temtem with the 5SV, and then you'll be fine. The next thing we're going to go over in this video is how to level your Temtem once you obtained your Temtem. You can either do the leveling before or after the TV training, but I'm going to start with leveling because you're probably going to want to level some Temtem to use for TV training before you actually start TV training. The leveling spot that is used most is the Revel Spawn on the Chieftain's Barrow Shrine. So for this, you're going to have to complete the sub-quest to unlock the shrine, which is just like any of the other shrines. You need a team of all of the type of that shrine. So for example, in this is the melee shrine, so you need a melee type. My suggestion is to use Melee Chromion and Monko, as those are both melee types, but also digital. So that digital typing is going to absolutely wreck through the the melee typing that you're going to see in that shrine. So once you unlock the shrine, how do you actually level? So there is an item called the Ignominus Cloak. Once you get that, you're also going to want the Coward's Blanket. Those items are going to allow you to level up using the double matter teleport method. So what that method is you have two level 100 Temtem with the matter teleport ability. Lotto, Mental Coish, Sandby, all of these options work very well for this. And you basically just kill the Broculum. Matter Teleport will one-shot them with any of those Temtem with attack invested. And with your speed invested as well, you won't get outsped by any plagues, so you don't have to worry about that. With the Coward's Blanket activated, that allows you to level 4 Tems at once, and only 20% of the experience is leached by the last member. However, there is another method that does require a bit more setup, but once you have it is way quicker than any other method. So the method I'm referring to is what's called the Moments method. East25 did a great video on it, which I'll link down below, explaining the Moments method, and like I said, he does a great job, so I'll leave that mostly to him, but just as a quick how it works, you get a Lotto with the Voodoo trait and 500 attack SVs. With this, you're able to use Faraday Cage on your Moments, causing Voodoo to kill the Broculums, so 100% EXP is now put onto the one Temtem you're trying to level. So you put a Coward's Cloak on that Temtem, and they will get all the EXP. You kill your 4 Momentses, you then use your Tem Essence Fall to heal them, kill them again, go back to the nearby healing spot and heal, and rinse and repeat. Some might think that this must be a bit slower because you have to go back and forth to the healing. However, it was tested rigorously with members of the community and is deemed to definitely be the faster method than the double matter teleport. The biggest thing about the Moments method is you need a Moment with high base HP and low base defense so that you will one-shot them with Faraday Cage, but they have enough HP to kill the Broccolum. It's for this reason that you need to look at both stats. I prefer using Sconch. The reason Sconch works a bit better is because it has a high enough base HP that if you get one that's 44 TVs or above, you'll be able to kill the Broccolums with, or kill it with Matter Teleport, and the Voodoo damage will be enough to kill the Broccolums. The nice thing about this is it could be a 50 SV defense Sconch, so you could use a perfect Sconch for this. And now, of course, it's not as efficient unless you get 4 Sconches. But you would only say, if you wanted to get a perfect Sconch, you would only need to get 3 more, and then you'd still be fine. So I'm going to demonstrate that here. Alright, here I'm going to demonstrate the Lotto Sconch leveling method. This is to show you the minimum stats you need on all of your Temtem to make this method work. This is why I think it's a bit of an easier method to make work, because you don't need anything perfect to be able to use this strategy. So this is this is an option over the Moment strategy that we've seen in the past of the video that I've linked below by East. So in this strategy, you can see that we're using Matter Teleport on our own Sconch that's going to kill the Broccolum. So just to show you, you can have a 1-attack Lotto hitting a 44 HP Sconch. It's still going to kill, and it's going to do enough damage to Broccolum. So what you need here is you need to make sure you have a Lotto that's max level, which you're going to need for any leveling method anyways. A Sconch that's level 100 with at least 44 HP SVs and 500 HP investment, and then that will kill any 2 Broccolum that you will see on the other side of the field. So this way you don't have to worry about the defense. As you can see, it's a 50 defense SV. It's because Matter Teleport is a ×4, it always kills the Sconch. So this is a bit of an easier method in the way that Sconch is a bit easier to come by because you don't need to worry about the defense stat being low enough, and your HP can be at 44, and that's fine. So I find this to be a bit easier to collect the tems to use for this method. In this part of the video, we're going to talk about TV training. So TVs, like I've said in a previous video, are basically what's going to give you your extra stats in Temtem and how you actually train them to be competitive. Of course, the main way to TV train in Temtem is with the fruits and smoothie system. There will be a new TV training method in 1.0 that uses these systems, but they will cost pansons. So when you're just starting out, it can be easier to manually train them. While it does take a bit longer, it does allow you that option so that you can save your pansons for buying the perfect Temtem that you want. So in this part of the video, we're going to go over the locations where you TV train and what you are going to want to kill while you're doing it. The main things you'll need before you start TV training is the Proteans gear that can be found in the Great Banu, as well as a few Temtem that'll make your TV training easier. The ones I would definitely recommend getting are a Spreader Tukai, as they make quick work of the speed training spot, an electric synthesis Nesla with chain lightning, as that does very well for the Cypat HP as well as the Fomu special defense. You could probably use your Spreader Tukai for this, but I do find that Nestle works really well, so it depends on what you can get your hands on quickly. Personally, I think Nestle's a bit easier to get, so that would be my go-to. And finally, an Oshiara with Hurrywart that has a high special attack stat as well as a high speed stat. You want to be able to outspeed and kill the Osikai in the Aisha's Hearth. Make sure Oshiara outspeeds the Osikais. You want to make sure that you have 25 SV in the speed stat. That will allow a level 100 Oshiara to always outspeed an Osikai at 50 SVs. In this part of the video, we're going to talk about TV training. So TVs, like I've said in a previous video, are basically what's going to give you your extra stats in Temtem and how you actually train them to be competitive. Of course, the main way to TV train in Temtem is with the fruits and smoothie system. There will be a new TV training method in 1.0 that uses these systems, but they will cost pansons. So when you're just starting out, it can be easier to manually train them while it does take a bit longer. it does allow you that option so that you can save your pansons for buying the perfect Temtem that you want. So first off, here's a quick graphic that shows you all of the ideal TV locations. I will be going through them a little bit more, but this is just the basic outline. I got this from Plus OP's Discord, which I'll post down below. Plus is an awesome guy, runs a lot of community tournaments, and has carried the PvP community on his back at some time. So he's the one that I got this from. You can see his Twitch link up in the top right corner, so make sure to go check him out and give him a follow. And all of his stuff will be down in the description as well. First off, we have the Cypat training spot. This is in the northern part of Dennis, as you can see on the map here. If you bring up Dennis, you'll see the Solaro River at the top next to Windward Fort. So you go down to this little patch, and it is 100% Cypat spawn, and they yield 3 HP TVs. HP is definitely one of the easier ones to TV train, so I definitely recommend, if you are going to decide to TV train some, HP is definitely one that's a good one to go with. Next up, we have the Pataroo stamina farming spot. This has an 80% Pataroo spawn rate, which gives 2 TV yield of stamina. This is between the Neuro Large and the Geno Gap. So this is a great spot to go for stamina training. Obviously, it's not ideal where they do have, it's only 2 yield and it's 80%. So you do have to make sure you're not killing anything else other than the Tataroos. But for stamina, it's not too bad if you get the hang of it. Stamina, where you don't often need very much, it's also a pretty easy one to use the smoothies and the fruit since you don't need much of it. Next up, we have the Speed TV. This can be obtained by killing either Orphals or Mushies in the Corrupted Badlands. It's just north of where you drop after the airship in the Tukma location. So you can go here and use your Spreader 2Kai to just windburst both of these down instantly. And that has a 90% spawn rate for one of the two. The only other thing that can spawn there is a Blues. So you just have to make sure you're keeping an eye out for that. Next up is Aisha's Hearth, where you're going to be killing Osukais. These give a whopping +4 attack TVs, so this is a very good one to do if you're training anything that needs attack. Your Oshiara Tsunami will kill both the Osukais, and it is a super quick TV training method. I highly recommend that if you're low on Pansons, that you should always train your attack here rather than buying and fruiting for them. Also note that Osukai is also decent at leveling, since your Oshiara can hold the Ignominus Cloak, so it's also a good option for that, to start leveling your Temtem and get them some attack TVs while you're at it. Next up, we have the Defense TV training spot, which is in the Arbory Forest, just east of Properton. This is where you kill Gorongs for +4 defense TVs. They are an 80% spawn, so it's a pretty good spot. My only problem with it is Gorong can be a bit annoying to kill, plus the seismic animation can slow you down a bit. Normally, defense is one that I will fruit if I can, but if you don't have that option, then you can just kill Gorong with any of your other TV training Temtem. It just might take 2 hits to kill them, so you're going to want to keep an eye on that. And make sure you're using a lure on your max level Temtem so that your whatever you're training isn't taking any of the hits. Or, of course, if you don't need the HP, you can just use double 2Kai Spreader or Mimit, and that should easily take any Gorong down. Next up, we have the Revel Spawn, which is an 80% spawn rate on the winding passage between Lockberg and Chieftain's Barrow. Most of the grass patches are there, but it's anything that's within the circle that I listed. These should go down pretty easily to an Oshiara Tsunami, so this is a pretty good spot to farm special attack, which in the past was definitely a pain to do. So this is a great one to see. They each give 3 special attacks, so you shouldn't be here too long to do it. And finally, we have the Special Defense TV training spot. This is in northern Dennis on the east side. There was a small patch of grass. This is going to be killing Fomus for special defense TVs. So they give +2 each time, but they are 100% spawn, so you can kind of turn your brain off while you're doing it. Definitely a pretty good farming method. An electric synthesis Nesla with chain lightning will make quick work of this. Alright guys, that's it for me though today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you're all very excited for the 1.0 launch. This will be the last video going over systems that are currently in the game. The only other video that we're going to have up next, which is going to come out tomorrow, is the video going over important 1.0 features that are coming out. Of course, we don't know everything about them, and we won't until 1.0 launches. So this will just be a brief introduction to see what you can get excited for, mainly for the Ranked 2.0 update, which will be coming later down the line. So thanks so much for everyone who's been watching the series and enjoying it. I hope it's been helping you guys out. If you guys did like it, make sure to like the video and comment with any comments, questions, or concerns that you may have. Also, if there's anything you'd like to see a guide done on, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to get to it. Thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.